this is how I suggest you use this newsletter's Airtable. All right, we've got these different tables here. The first table is newsletters. So that would be give a date for each newsletter that you plan to send out. So say, I already have this next one, but let's just make up the next newsletter. Okay, you want the next newsletter to go out on Friday. So put the date there, and you can add that it is for the future. Okay? This one, preparing now, I only ever have one marked preparing now, and then it makes it easy to see that because I may have 10 future newsletters planned out, and then it would be hard to see which one I'm looking at. So I could go to view and choose preparing now, and it will only show me one newsletter, and then it's easy to go through and look at these things. And let's just go ahead and do that. Say we already have the content in here. What is the content here? The status, the segment, receive live newsletter. So this connects to right here. What is a segment? All right. You may only want to email your members, or only email your non-members, or only email donors, or email everybody who is on your newsletter list. That's the one I call receive live newsletter. So we can mark that here. Who's it going to? What is the subject line? What is the pre-header text? When you get an email, you'll, at least in Gmail, always see this main line, and this will be in bold, and then you also see words after that. So I always try to put a sentence in there to fill that up and give someone extra reason to click open. You don't have to use this, but this is in the format I use for Save the Frogs newsletters in the order that I'm going to add it to the newsletter. So these days I'm starting my emails with some poetry, so you could just add in your poem right there. Now, why is all this good? Why not just go straight to your software such as MadMimi or ActiveCampaign or Fluent CRM or ConvertKit or Constant Contact or MailChimp, or don't use MailChimp, but whatever one you're using, why not just put all this stuff straight in there? Because if you have it here, you can plan it in advance, you can see it easily in the future to refer back to it, and you could just give somebody access to this and say, you go put it in there, saving yourself the time. Then you can just create the content here, and they can spend their time adding it to that software. All right, so this is the content. This comes from right here. This is each piece of content. Maybe we have a holiday bash announcement. Maybe we have new shirts for sale. And we can say, what phase is this? Is it ready to go? Okay, let's call this one in the writing phase. Say we already finished this one. Then I'd say, hey, add that to Fluent CRM or whatever my newsletter software is. And when the volunteer adds it, they can switch it to added to Fluent CRM. If they're in charge of publishing it, they could switch it to published, but maybe you want to review everything, then you could switch it to published when it's all ready. Which newsletter is it going in? Let's send this out in the December 16th newsletter. What is the main text? Just grab some of this text here. Okay, so you can write all your text here. You can click that to open it up to see more of it right there. If you do want formatting, I think this will handle, yeah, it will. So you could add a link right here. You could italicize something. All right, I like to have a button after the paragraph describing something. I'll have a button that's going to say something like, buy your shirt here. It's going to be really easy to see. Where's the button going to link to? It's going to link to your site /shirts or wherever. Okay, now I always like to put in a picture. Okay, so you could upload your picture of a shirt right here, and then what's the shirt going to link to? It's probably going to be the same link. I usually have the same link here and here. Okay, so this is the link for the button. This is the link for the image. And then if there's a caption, you can put that here, and these shirts are awesome. Now, is there something somebody should know? You can put that right here, italicize captions. Okay, or you could say don't italicize the captions. So whenever you see an I, that's info for somebody or for you to remember in the future. What type of content is it? Okay, these are gifts, shop, merchandise. So this links to right here. All right, so you can list out all the potential types of content. This may help you be creative and come up with stuff if you can't think of what to mail people. Oh, I can email someone about campaigns, okay, or about upcoming events. All right, now this showed up here because it's linked. It'll also even tell you how many, got some calculations to show you how many of those you have published or ready to publish. All right, where were we? Now this right here, social media. What I do these days, I first create something for the newsletter, or generally speaking I do, and then I know it's in a perfect condition and can be sent to social media to the person in charge of that. Or maybe it already got sent. I could mark it as sent, or I don't want it to send. I could say do not send to social media. So you can keep track of that there. Say you have 10 different pieces of content here. You don't know which is the most important. You can mark one as high priority, and then it'll be easy to find. When you come down here, I've got these different views filtering the data. So, hey, there's all my high priority posts right there. If I uncheck it, it'll disappear from that view. So come back to all content, or I could go find my unpublished content or my published content. This is no longer going to be added to Active Campaign. For you, it's going to be add to Fluent CRM. All right, and we can look, how do I create these views? I just come down to create a view, a grid view, okay? I'd click that and then give it a name and I'd filter it. What's gonna be here? If the status is added to Fluent CRM. Now let's see what happens. Let's imagine that I finished this and I added it to Fluent CRM. Then it's gonna show up in that view right there. It's been added to Fluent CRM. All right. So what else is in here? High priority, added by who created this content. And that's it. Now we can see right here, newsletters we're in preparing now, but let's go back and look at all our newsletters, or we could look at future newsletters, okay? And so who's this going out to? Say this is only going out. This is going to be a newsletter only for members. Then I'd put that there and give it a subject line. Members only newsletter, new shirts. All right. And then pre-header text. Look inside for blah, blah, blah. Just one sentence. Poetry or not. Maybe you have something else. You always want to put before the content, you could just put that there. Okay, I like to have these, as I said, in the order that they're going to get added to create the newsletter. All right, signature, where you are. You don't have to use these, but these end up in all my newsletters. Hey, have a great weekend. Where I'm at. A PS I always have at the end. It says right here, do not italicize it. A testimonial. You should be collecting testimonials. I also have a thorough Airtable for the collection of testimonials and to track where they've been used, the newsletter, the website, etc. If you want a photo of yourself in the signature, that's something I always do. Put a photo of me there, caption for the photo, and then this stuff is for the future. You can look at your open rates, click-through rates, etc. if you want to do some analyses. I think that's about everything there. Subject line ideas, if you have random, not random, but if you have ideas for types of subject lines, you could put them here. A lot of my Airtables also have a table called resources, and that's for stuff like, how to create newsletters. Maybe you found a good site and you'd want to keep track of that in the future to refer to it. Then you could change that to a URL field and say, HTTP greatnewsletters.com. And then in the future, you can refer back to those things related to newsletters. All right, that's it. Try it out, and it should help you keep track of content and get the content published on a schedule. You can even set these up. I do it in advance. I'm just going to go ahead and say, hey, a newsletter is going out every Tuesday, okay, or every Friday. So just go ahead and create them in advance, and then you can plan the content that's going to go into those. All these are happening in the future, and maybe these are going out to everybody. So just go ahead and mark it there. If you know what it's about, you can go ahead and write the subject line right now, and then as you create content, you can state which newsletter it's going to go in. All right, good luck.